If I said to you the name Dean Lewis, if I said to you this particular artist today has been nominated for Best Pop Release, Best Video Song of the Year, Breakthrough Artist, Best Pop Release again, Best Australian Live Act, Album of the Year, Best Pop Release, Song of the Year, numerous times in his homeland Australia, would you know him? Well, today's guest is an Australian singer-songwriter and best known for his 2016 Waves, certified 7 times platinum in Australia in 2019, and its 2018 single All Right reached #1 in Australia and was certified platinum within 4 weeks of release, eventually reaching 11 platinum in Australia and multi-platinum worldwide, including double platinum in the United States. His first album was called A Place We Knew in 2019, but he's now released The Hardest Love. And from The Hardest Love, track 6 is How Do I Say Goodbye, which I am playing today. This is what he has to say about the song, and I want you to listen because it's very, very emotional. It's a biographical song where the singer dealt with the possibility of his father dying as he battles cancer. It's for anyone, he says via Instagram, who had to say goodbye to somebody they love. A few years ago, my dad was diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer, and the doctors gave him 25% chance of living past a year. He'd always been my best friend and the person I looked up to the most. So I wrote him this song. He did continue because his father went into remission, and thank God, Dean, he did. Myself, like many other people, we weren't so lucky. My father died of cancer. So it is going to be poignant and emotional for me to hear you sing it. And after reading the lyrics, I admit to everybody, I've already cried twice. Every time I try to approach it, I get very emotional. He continued, Dean, by saying, How Do I Say Goodbye is officially out everywhere in the world. I remember the moment so vividly a little while ago in Nashville. I sang the chorus into the microphone. So just imagine him singing this song, getting it recorded and taking off his headphones, because he couldn't believe what I was hearing back from the speakers. The lyrics perfectly explained what I had felt, and it was an incredibly emotional moment. The vocal you hear on the chorus, so look out for that, is now what I heard then. I don't think I'll ever write a song as good or as meaningful as this one again, although that won't stop me trying. I'm consciously aware of that these songs appear once every couple of years. It was an incredibly emotional song to write. I broke down a bunch of times. I knew it was special. I wrote the song about my dad when he got diagnosed with the cancer, but I've been lucky enough to show him this song as he's now in remission. And he said, quote brackets, he loves the song but can't listen to it more than once. And now I'm seeing the song connect with so many other people. Please listen, and I hope you love it. People will fall in love with it. Will fall. We have Adele with her songs. We had Lady Gaga recently with her song. And it's not important to mention what those songs were, but this is important. How Do I Say Goodbye? Take a listen and I'll give you my interpretation of the lyrics straight after. I'm just going to upload it now.
Morning, there's a message on my phone. It's my mother saying, darling, please come home. I fear the worst, but how could you leave us all behind? There's so much to say, but there's so little time. So how do I say goodbye? Someone who's been with me for my whole damn life. You gave me my name and the color of your eyes. See your face when I look at mine. So how do I say goodbye? When I couldn't, you always saw the best in me. Right or wrong, you were always on my side. But I'm scared that you's like, and I saw the way she looked into your eyes. And I promise if you go, I will make sure she's alright. So how do I say goodbye to someone who's been with me for my whole damn life? You gave me my name and the color of your eyes. See your face when I look at mine. So how do I say goodbye? And there's no way you could ever let me down. Gonna steal some time and start again. You'll always be my closest friend, and someday we're gonna make it out. Just hold the light, just hold the light high, high. So how do I say goodbye to someone who's been with me for my whole damn life? You gave me my name and the color of your eyes. I see your face when I look at mine. So how do I say goodbye? So how do I say goodbye?
I just had to take a bit of a breath there because it's emotional. It's emotional for many reasons, different to many people. I just got to take a breath. Beautifully sung, Dane. And yes, I got emotional. You never do say goodbye to anybody that dies in such a horrific way that affects millions of people around the world. I'm not the only one, but God, I can't stop. But what happens is, I remember one of the last visits to my father in the hospital, and he said, "I've something to tell you, son." And I said, "What?" "You're a gentleman. I never called at you. But I want you to always know that. So you don't say goodbye because it goes round in your head, the last words or the last moments or the last touch or the last conversation you have. So whew, it's tough. Verse 1 says, I hope I can get through this. Early in the morning, there's a message on my phone, and it's my mother saying, "Please come home." And that's exactly what millions of people are going to say. I was working in Belfast, and I remember getting that phone call twice. Once by my father saying, because my mother died before my father, "Please come home, she wants to see you." And it was the hardest thing I ever did in my life, because the image I had of my mother before she died was of the hair and how beautiful she was. She was a beautiful looking woman, really beautiful, typical Colleen, beautiful, just beautiful, blonde hair. And then to get it the second time really hurt too. I wasn't the closest to my father, but at the same time, he was my father, and he did me no harm. It's just you can't always have so many siblings close to their parents. It's an impossibility. There'll always be one or two closer than you. But I remember I got the phone call to say, please come home. Your father has died. And I had visited him the week before, a colleague in my work. I worked at Trinity College in Dublin, and he had drove me to the hospital where my father was. So I did manage to say goodbye to him. And I fear the worst, the lyrics continue, but how could you leave us all behind? So he's fearing the worst. It hasn't happened, but he's preparing himself. And no matter what people say, there's no preparation for cancer and death of a loved one, none. And as the lyrics say, and it continues, there's so much to say, but there's so little time. Isn't that so sad that we all walk the same footsteps in life when there's so much to say? But I'm one of those people that did say it. I wouldn't have, if my father, and he has, I wouldn't have been one of those people who wouldn't have said through my lifetime things I needed to say. I wasn't one of those. I always said what I needed to say to him. So maybe that prepared me a lot better than a lot of people. But the chorus says, so how do I say goodbye? You don't say goodbye. You never say goodbye. This thing about he'll not rest in peace if you don't say goodbye, that's all airy fairy biblical trash. And I'm sorry for anybody that's religious. It is. Because we're human beings. We have to... The Bible is alienated to us in a lot of ways when it comes to death. You have to do it individualistically. You have to do it in your own way. How do I say goodbye? Could be lighting a candle. How do I say goodbye? It could be writing a note and putting it in the coffin so when he's buried, you have your final words wrote on a piece of paper. There's so many variations of how to do it. Just find your own way of doing it. And it doesn't have to be on the funeral. It doesn't have to be before he dies. It can also be after. There's no time scale to death or to being at peace. And that's how I would phrase it. How do I say goodbye? We always say how, but a lot of us don't. I never say goodbye. My last words were, I'll see you again soon. Have a good one. Enjoy your trip. And I kissed my father on the cheek when I said that. I'll see you soon. And then it says in the lyrics, to somebody who's been with me for my whole damn life, you gave me the name, the colour of your eyes, to see your face when I look at mine. So how do I say goodbye? Verse 2, when I couldn't, you always saw the best in me. Right or wrong, you were always on my side. But I'm scared of what life's without it's going to be like. And I saw the way she looked into your eyes. So it's almost like he's recognizing how the mother looked into the father's eyes. And only two loved ones, a couple, can share that look, can share that knowing. And all her prayers, all her thoughts, that moment of looking into the eyes is a true telltale of whether that person is going to be in remission or climb the ladders into the spiritual world. The pre-chorus, and I promise if you go, I'll make sure she's all right. I think every single son has made that promise to themselves that if anything happens to my dad, I'll always make sure my mum's all right. And I would have done the same. If my mother had not died before my father, I would have done the same. And the chorus is, how do I say goodbye to somebody who's been with me my whole damn life? You gave me your name, the colour of your eyes. I see your face when I look at mine. So how do I say goodbye? Isn't it funny that even if you say you don't look like either of your parents, or you don't look like your father, you're more like your mother, and I am very like my mother, not like my father. It's funny before I recorded this, I looked in the mirror, and the greyness and the white of the hair is so typified of my father's side of the family when they all grey. And I said, oh, the Woodses is coming through. The Murphys, my mother's, has always been blonde and blue eyes, so I've had that all my life. But isn't it funny, when the hair went from a dark blonde to a grey, I suddenly had the persona of my father coming through. So there's comfort in that. So that's very true. The Bridges, there's no way you could ever let me down. I'm going to steal some time and start again. You'll always be my closest friend. And someday we're going to make it out. Just hold the light, hold the light. And when it says hold the light, that's the light of hope. It truly is. And I always say to everybody, don't let that light go out. Even if you say I'm atheist and I don't pray, find a way of passing on good wishes in your own way to the person that's dying. Don't dismiss religion, don't blame religion, don't hate religion. I don't on any level, but I do say the Bible was wrote 2,000 years ago. It's not applicable, or more years ago. It's not applicable to 2022 and how we have lived our lives in the world. We all think differently, so never be ashamed of that. But there is a side to us where we can all give something, hope, to the next person. That's all it takes. Wish hope that they come through it. I wish their pain could be taken away. There's no harm in doing that. Hold the light, if not for yourself, for your mother or the siblings that do have faith. Chorus says, so how do I say goodbye to somebody who's been with me for my whole damn life? You gave me your name, the colour of your eyes, I see your face when I look at mine. So how do I say goodbye? So how do I say goodbye? My answer to this again is this. You don't say goodbye. You just say, I'll see you soon. Thanks for listening. That's my interpretation. And I hope, like me, you've stopped crying. Deep breath. Cup of coffee after this video. I'll open up the curtains, get some light in here and walk my dog. Oh, I need it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and there'll be more of Dean Lewis, I promise you, very soon.